The fundamental kind of question is almost back at them. It's like, if they are interested in understanding behaviour and understanding what determines someone's behaviour, then behavioural economics gives you the frameworks and concepts to do that. So if you're interested in behaviour, then they should be using behavioural economics to understand the blueprint of current behaviour and where they want to go to. I suspect the second thing is that I think behavioural economics, you need to think of it in a wider concept. It's essentially it's an evolution of understanding of human behaviour and behavioural change. And every marketing person is in the world of behavioural change, and so essentially it's like you'd be mad not to be in the sweet store when someone's telling you more about how to understand and do that. So behavioural change is what you want and you will, then it allows you and facilitates better ways of doing it. And I suppose third would be, hey, this is the age of in essential behavioural psychological enlightenment. This will be known as a period in 100 years to come as the Enlightenment period. Do you want to be on the Enlightenment train or not? Obviously, making and breaking habits is the holy grail of any marketing usually. So essentially, if behavioural economics gives you a deeper understanding of how to understand what is a neural habit loop, and remember quite simply that habits were originally cobwebs, they eventually become chains because they drop into your subconscious and are probably about 50-60% of your behaviour. So if you want to make or break a habit and you want to do it in a creative way, you need to either, say, if you want to break an existing habit, you need to surface what is all subconscious in order to understand what are the triggers that are starting a particular routine or behaviour and what are the rewards. And all of those can be very deep psychological. You can't start to make or break a habit until you think about that behavioural chemistry. But the great thing about behavioural science is once you've thought about that chemistry and that loop you're trying to build, then behavioural economics can give you the triggers or the rewards to emphasise and advertising to begin to build the cobwebs that could become your chains. I mean, context is king and queen, in the sense that we can do lots of advertising which is irrelevant to context and not thinking about where people are, what they think, and it can work to a degree. But quite simply, we know we live in a world where getting up and closer to people is what everything is about, trying to get more of that proximity, and therefore the same thing about behavioural science is if someone is on a journey and you want to communicate to their journey and impact them on certain parts of the journey, what I call inflection points, then understanding the different contexts will inform and inspire maybe slightly different messages, which will have more impact because they are sensitive to that context. And context is a wide thing. Context is social culture. It could be brand context. It could be purchase context. You need to think of it in a constructive way in someone's journey through it, and that should inform a much more powerful connection at the consumer end.